Are you voluntarily employed? I get this a lot with clients, a lot. Right? Voluntarily employed. Someone told me this a long time ago. Actually, I think it was one of my clients who told me that. He goes, basically, I'm voluntarily employed. I said, oh, that's a great way to look at it. I.e., he liked his job, but he didn't need it financially. Just working a couple people today, 2 guys actually, my age, both legends. Actually, it's so funny how much similarities we have between me and these 2 guys. Both crushing white guys who are kicking ass and taking names. But both of those guys are in law enforcement. One with a private corporation, one with the federal government. And they both loved putting bad guys away. Loved it. So, dude, I love putting bad guys away. I'm doing good work. I know this got to be done. I'm good at it. I love putting bad guys away. But both are to the point where they're like, the politics, I'm just not sure if I want to do this anymore. I just want to make sure I can leave if I want. One guy say, I'm not even sure they're not going to cut me because he's over 50 years old. He's making good money. He says, my corporations let people go all the time. And they're not doing it because we hit a certain age. They're doing it because we make money. I said, no, I understood, dude, what I'm saying. That's actually made me think about it. One of the nice things about being in sales is when you're in sales, they don't care how old you are. If they're paying you 100 and you're bringing 140 in, you're going to have a job, if you know what I'm saying. Unless they think they can get some guy to bring in 140, but they're only paying him 80. And I highly suspect they doubt that. But that's a nice thing about sales. Sales is a complete meritocracy, whatever it's called, meritocracy, where you just say, hey, man, I'm 64 years old. I got snots hanging on my freaking face. I'm freaking got ears, my hair growing on my ear. I cuss like a drunken sailor, but I'm bringing you 140 for every $100 you invest. You're going to have a job. If you're working, though, in a place that isn't as set up like that, where it's just basically, we need you, you're doing good, but, there's no input equals output necessarily, you might find yourself on the short end of the stick, especially if you're making pretty good money. But anyway, both these guys, I said, man, you're both voluntarily employed, both. And it's funny, they're both like, yeah, what do I do next? I said, no, I get it. That's the question, because I like what I do. I mean, I don't love it. I don't like get up every morning and say, yeah. I do have people like that. They freaking love it. I said, well, the nice thing about being voluntarily employed is that you don't have to put up with freaking crap. You know what I'm saying? If they hire some cracker barrel stupid CEO with big fat black glasses who's trying so hard to get, her woke credit score up, you can leave if you want. You know what I'm saying? But you still got to think about the second part of this. What do you do now? That doesn't mean you just go sit there like I am. See, this is where I am. I feel kind of guilty doing this. I'm like, dude, I read a lot. I do videos a lot. I got a dog on my lap. I'm getting outside, getting sun on my lack of melanin. Is that what's called? Melanin or something like that? Whatever it is on my skin on a cold fall day. You feel guilty. A lot of times you feel guilty if you're like 50, I'm 55. You're like, I've been working my ass off my whole life. And I was talking to this guy today. He's like, man, it's crazy. I'm always just, all right, I just can't settle down. I've always got to be doing something. I cannot, because when you come up poor, you can't waste a day away because you might not get food. You know what I'm saying? And it's just really that simple. This guy's experience is almost identical to mine. It's so funny. I was like, yeah, man, it cracks me up. We both like the same kind of music. It was just funny. I was like, he's like, I don't know how you just go from that, 100 miles an hour to just like not doing anything. I said, no, that's the issue. A lot of my guys are freaking ass kicking, crushing guys, and ladies too. And they're like so used to working hard because they're trying to, it's not escape the past, not like that at all, but they're trying to make sure they don't ever go back. They've been poor, they've not been poor, and they don't want to be poor again. They feel like every day if they're not doing something to advance the ball downfield, it's a waste of opportunity that could come back and bite them. And dude, I get that 100%. That's where I feel. I'm like, dude, I read a lot. I do a lot of videos, you know what I'm saying? I talk to clients every day, and I still feel like I don't really work in that hard. It can feel guilty. I'm not going to lie to you. And if you're voluntarily employed to the extent that you can quit whenever you want, and you're 54 years old or something like that, you're like, now what? And that's the big issue, now what? And again, that's not for everybody. Some people, they can't. They're not voluntarily employed. They need their job to pay the bills. A lot of my guys are self-selective, conservative-minded, in terms of they're just not high spenders. We don't need to be driving big, fancy, schmancy, good time rock roll, plastic banana cars. A lot of my guys are typical. And when I say guys, I'm talking about the ladies too. Just conservative-minded people, frugal, not miserly, but frugal. They still want to spend and have a good time party, but they don't. A lot of them aren't freaking out there, smoking dope and shooting bad stuff in their veins or anything like that. So pretty hard charging people have been hard charging for their lives, but now they're like, I don't need to do this. I'm like, nah. Well, what next? I said, no, that's a challenge. But there's a million ways you can go and ride on. So you could be a volunteer. You can a million things you can do. That's if you even want to leave. But the nice thing about being voluntarily employed is you can say, I'm going to keep doing this until I don't want to do it anymore. At some point, I just might not want to do it. I think my man I was talking today said Arthur Brooks, so I think he's the head of AEI, American Enterprise Institute. He's talking about how you're hard charging, and then you just hit a wall. It's not even you don't care anymore. You just literally just like, I'm not into this anymore. And you're not doing bad work. You're just not doing the work you know you should be doing. And you just hit this wall. And I've never been there yet. And I'm not here because for me, I'm in a sales job, dude. I've got to appeal to you so you would hire me and watch my videos. If I don't do that, then I am SOL. So I can't do half-ass crappy videos or half-ass crappy financial planning because then you'll never tell your friends about me or share your videos or anything like that, and then I'm dead. So when you're self-employed, it's a challenge. You know what I'm saying? You just can't do half-ass work until you get enough money that you're just living off your basically your portfolio. I'll never have that. I'll never have that. But some of these guys, they don't have to work that hard. If at all, they can say, no, I'm done. But I like what I do. It's a challenge. It's a dilemma. And I'm like, all right, we'll just say at the end of the day, we'll put the baseline on that you're going to retire at the end of this year. You know what I'm saying? You got no income coming in. You're 56 years old. And we'll crunch these numbers there. I said, yeah, probably we'll stay until 59 and a half. I said, I get it. Every day you work is another less day you have to draw on your portfolio. That's what I used to always say when we lived in New Jersey. I'll never forget this. Every week, I bring out my trash can. Every Thursday, I bring out my trash can when we lived in New Jersey. Or every 2 weeks, I guess. Well, we bring out a trash can every week, but every 2 weeks it would be we got paid every 2 weeks. I said, there's another X amount of dollars in my 401k. That's mine because that's vested. I get, I put $1,000 in. USA put $1,000 in. I said, that's an extra $2,000 that's in my 401k. That's mine. That felt good, man. I'm not going to lie to you. That felt like everything. I said, okay, I had $10,000. A couple months later, I get $14,000, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's just that was a motivating way for me to keep going when people are pissing me off. I said, no, I just know every time you take out the trash can, every other Thursday, you got an extra $2,000, whatever it was. That felt good, man. And now I thank the good Lord I had that money because that's what I used to start my business. So I didn't go from that to just sitting around picking my nose, playing good time rock and roll. And I don't expect most of the people I work with who are voluntarily employed will do that as well. You know, they might take a sabbatical of some sort before they get back onto it. But the thing is, being voluntarily employed changes the world, man. Because you say, I'm out. I'm going to do whatever I want. And I got a guy in North Carolina I was working with when I was at USA. I haven't worked with him a couple of years, but he's doing all kinds of stuff for Hurricane Helene. He had a backhoe, front loaded the whole thing, and he's just volunteering. And guy's just a legend, man. He's like, I couldn't do this if I was still working. And he's just doing good work, even though he's not employed for money anymore. He's doing good, wholesome work for God. And God rewarded him with financial acumen, and now he's using that financial acumen to go out there and help his community in trying times. It's a good place to be, man. All right, just yapping. Love your thoughts. God bless.